So another day, another just weird situation, with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever and people around the organization. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans. I'm like,
the heartbreak in Indiana right now is unreal. Fever fans are living through their worst nightmare, and it feels like a punch straight to the gut. Caitlin Clark, the superstar who single-handedly turned empty seats into packed houses, is now trapped in an endless cycle of injury reports. And this time, it isn't just about missing a few games. It's about possibly losing an entire season. The most electric talent the WNBA has ever seen is being sidelined, and the ripple effects are devastating.
Another good win by the Indiana Fever today versus the Seattle Storm, but I got a big concern with Caitlin Clark. So looks like the Fever been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season. Fever do their thing in the playoff. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With Caitlin Clark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of
The stats tell a story that's hard to swallow. Clark has already missed 22 games this season. 22. That's more than some players sit out over the course of their entire careers. For fans who are used to seeing her as the Iron Woman of basketball, the number is staggering.
he literally said, he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for Caitlin Clark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of the player playing basketball. I don't see an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously he's someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned that, the fans.
This is the same Caitlin Clark who never missed a single game in 4 years at Iowa, who powered through her rookie WNBA season without skipping a beat. Now, she's piling up injuries like they are souvenirs. A quad strain, a groin injury on the left side, then the right side, and now a bone bruise in her ankle, all while she was trying to recover from the first round of setbacks. It's like watching a priceless painting get spray painted over in real time.
His take is that, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? She's a great basketball player. So
if you are enjoying, please subscribe. But let's keep it real. What's happening to Clark isn't just a string of bad luck. It feels systematic. It feels calculated. The WNBA's brightest star is being chipped away piece by piece, and the league is letting it happen. This season was supposed to be different. Indiana finally built a roster that looked ready to chase a championship. Fans were buzzing. Tickets sold out. Hope was everywhere. And then, just like that, it all came crashing down.
A badass and a trash talker, and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order.
The first domino? That left quad strain. She sat for 5 games but came roaring back with a 32-point masterpiece against the defending champion Liberty. For a second, it felt like the storm had passed. But then came the groin injury, another 4 games gone. And when she returned, the magic wasn't there. She averaged just 12.5 points on 31% shooting. It wasn't the Caitlin Clark fans had come to worship.
Fever posted this about Caitlin Clark to give like the official what is going on with Caitlin's injury. So they said Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for Caitlin Clark. But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury,
And then came the gut punch. July 15th against Connecticut, the right groin injury. That one's been keeping her out for over a month now, with no end in sight. But the basketball gods weren't done. During rehab, she tweaked her left ankle, leaving her with a bone bruise on top of everything else. They called it mild. They said it wouldn't delay her recovery. But anyone who knows injuries knows the truth. These things stack up. They compound. And suddenly, you're standing on a crumbling foundation.
Didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season, and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking like, damn, you know, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You know, you play the regular season to get to the playoffs. Clark has missed, you know, most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, you know, a win is a...
And here's the infuriating part. This didn't happen in some random, unlucky bubble. This was years in the making. The WNBA has been letting players treat Caitlin Clark like she's fair game for cheap shots. Eye pokes, shoves to the floor, blind sides that never get called. Marina Mabrey got upgraded to a flagrant after knocking her down. JC Sheldon went straight for her eyes. And officials? They just shrugged. If this is how you treat your biggest star, what message are you sending?
Percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. Should be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
Even Lisa Bluder, Clark's old coach at Iowa, saw it coming. She begged the league for stronger rules, harsher fines, automatic ejections for dirty plays. But the WNBA turned a blind eye. They cashed the checks Clark was earning them and ignored the beatdowns she was taking every night. And now, the golden goose they failed to protect is stuck watching her season unravel. From never missing a game in her entire career to missing 60% of this year? That's not coincidence. That's negligence. Fans who once spent $600 just for a ticket are now left with vague updates and hollow reassurances. Head coach Stephanie White keeps saying the same thing. Until she's in practice, it's status quo. Translation: nobody knows if she's coming back.
The face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us, and I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
The Fever deserves some credit for staying afloat without her, going 10-9 in games she's missed. But let's not sugarcoat it. This roster was built for one reason, to win with Caitlin Clark. Without her, they are a middle-of-the-pack team clinging to the playoffs. Injuries aren't just hitting Clark either. Sydney Colson, torn ACL. Ari McDonald, broken foot. Sophie Cunningham, season-ending injury. It feels like Indiana has been cursed for daring to build around their superstar. Fans are beyond frustrated. Social media is exploding with demands. Some want Clark shut down for the season. Others want investigations into officiating. And honestly, can you blame them? When your franchise player goes from invincible to fragile overnight, something's seriously broken.
Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86, after Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. Since y'all want to make it about race, this white girl over here is the reason why fans are tuning in to watch the WNBA, not because of...
The league now finds itself in a nightmare scenario. Their biggest star, their cash cow, their ticket to mainstream relevancy, isn't on the court. Instead, she's just a what if. Meanwhile, the WNBA's off-court headlines are just as messy, from security concerns to bizarre incidents like sex toys being thrown on the court. But all of that pales in comparison to the Caitlin Clark crisis. This isn't about one player. This is about a league that refuses to protect its greatest asset. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert can talk about player safety task forces all she wants, but where was that safety when Clark was being targeted? Where were the suspensions? Where was the accountability?
That I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy. But I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does.
Now, with just 9 regular season games left, reality is setting in. Clark may not play another minute this year. The ankle bruise might be called mild, but combined with a groin that still hasn't healed, it's a ticking clock with no clear finish line. Analyst Rachel Demeter said the words fans didn't want to hear, "I don't think Caitlin Clark is coming back." The statement hit fans like a gut punch. The player who was supposed to carry the Fever to glory, the player who was going to cement herself as the face of the WNBA, is instead fighting just to make it through practice.
People say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case. She said she wants her first competition to be an Indy at WNBA All.
And here's the hardest truth. This didn't have to happen. Every injury, every setback could have been prevented if the WNBA had stepped up. If referees had called fouls. If dirty plays had consequences. If protecting stars had been a priority. Instead, Clark became a punching bag for veterans who couldn't match her talent. Now, instead of ascending into superstardom, she's learning what it feels like to be fragile, to be sidelined, to wonder if her prime is slipping away before it even started. The fans who once packed arenas just to watch her warm-ups now hold their breath at every injury update. The highlight reels have been replaced with medical reports. And the WNBA, the very league she dragged into the mainstream, looks completely lost without her. This wasn't just another injury. This was a catastrophic failure of leadership and protection. Caitlin Clark should be gearing up for the playoffs. Instead, she's watching from the sidelines, a casualty of a league's negligence. The 2025 season is slipping away, and with it, maybe the chance to see Clark at her best again. What should have been a breakout year has turned into a preventable tragedy.